Hi, everybody. Thank you for being here. Sorry about the wait. We have a first timer here on StreamYard, and they were really making her jump hurdles. Anybody that knows me, there's always a hiccup before we start a live, and we finally got it figured out. Also, I'm not going to say hi to everybody because I want to give Anna all of our time, and I'm not going to drop her down and bring her up. So I have Anna up here. We're going to go. Um, before we start this, when this first came out months ago, I was talking to Anna and nobody knew. I kept a secret, right, Anna?
Yes.
And I said, like, when the time comes, you'll hear it. Like how I've been so steadfast on how I know she did what she did. And for the purposes of this live, we're going to call a certain person Linda Martini. Okay? People in the chat, my panelists know we're talking about Linda Martini because Miss Linda Martini is going to do everything she can to get this live taken down. So we're talking about Linda Martini, right?
Yes.
Get
So
it?
with
The
that
same
being said,
initials.
Anna, thank you so much for being up here. And Anna's going to do most of the talking, and you're going to see what really happened because Anna witnessed it all. So, Anna, my first question, and we have Brooke up here because she is a nurse and a medical professional, and there's going to be some things that Anna's going to say that's going to make Brooke cringe.
I haven't even heard this yet, so I'm
And
going in
I kept
blind
this.
like y'all.
I just told Brooke tonight, like a half hour ago before we started, that this was happening, and I kept a secret for a long, long time. 5 months we've been sitting on it, and I texted Anna tonight. And I said, "Have you heard from the police?" And she said, "No." I said, "I think it's about time we talked about it," and she agreed. So, Anna, thank you for being here.
You're welcome. And thank you
This
for
is going to
having
be
me.
thank you for being here.
It's
And
our
I know
pleasure,
it's
Anna. Thank you.
yeah, you are. And yeah, this whole live is going to be a trigger warning. So there's that. So Anna, tell me first off how you come to have known Miss Linda Martini.
Well, July 4th, she came to my door with the baby in her arms.
Well,
And
prior to that, Anna.
oh, prior to
We
that, she had moved
yeah
into
yeah.
our building.
Okay,
She
so
she moved in about the end of May. And then
okay.
yeah, of May of this year. And I really didn't talk to her. I didn't really get to know her until the day of July 4th.
And
Really?
that was when
That's when,
maybe.
yes. No. That's when the fight between him and her happened. She came to
So
my,
you were living in the same apartment
yes,
complex.
yes.
And you guys, prior to like the fight with her and Eli, we'll say, um, prior prior to the fight with her and Eli on July 4th, did you guys didn't hang out or anything like that?
No,
Like
no, because I was actually commuting back and forth to my daughter's house at that point until the
okay.
day of July 4th when her and Eli had their little spat. She came to
All right,
my,
so walk us through it. So you're living in your apartment building, like happy
yes,
as a clam.
yes,
And this woman and her husband have, and like you had no dealing with them at all prior to like July 4th.
correct. And just so everybody knows, I was not home at the moment. And then when I did come home, because I brought my granddaughter back to my apartment, we were getting ready to go watch the fireworks. We get
Okay.
back here, my granddaughter uses the restroom. Somebody rings my doorbell, and I ran to the door. and she's crying, holding the baby, just crying and crying and crying.
So prior to her, I had to make this as clear as possible. Prior to that, like, so from all you know, when this woman is knocking on your door, like, you're like, who is this crazy person at my door?
Right. I mean, everybody that knows me that lives here, they know not to ring my doorbell because I don't like it. So
Okay.
when it rang, I kind of freaked out. I'm like, who would that be? Well, she was standing at my door crying, and she came
So
in.
all right, so she knocks on your door and it's July 4th. She's crying. All right, so
Yeah,
tell us what happened.
she's crying, you know, really hysterically, saying that she had a fight. They were arguing. He slapped her. She came in, and I had talked to my neighbor, asked her to come down, and she came down.
And did your neighbor know who this person was or anything like that?
Well, yes, because she met her before, but just briefly in the hallway. So she really didn't know her as well like me. She did not know her at all. So she came in. We ended up calling the police. I was holding the baby. She
And at
was,
this point, so when she was knocking on your door because Eli was handsy with her, like she had baby in hand.
yes, but she left her son upstairs with Eli.
I'm sorry to laugh. Okay, so this woman who's scared for her life, because that's, she's knocking on your door in a frenzy, right? Like,
Yes.
oh, help me, right? Like,
Yes.
this man, my husband's attacking me, but at the same time, she left her what? Oh, how old is the son in question?
I do believe she said 12.
So she was so worried to come and knock on a stranger's door, a neighbor in her apartment complex, for help, but it was, but at the same time, she kept her 12-year-old son in the custody of the person that was abusing her.
Correct. But you got to
Okay, so
remember.
can I ask one question? So this was before he, I guess, was arrested because he was
Yeah,
arrested that night
This is the night of his arrest.
prior. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Continue. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. So then we called the police station. An officer came out. When the officer was talking to her, myself and my neighbor were holding the baby back and forth, and she's smiling, she's cooing. She was, lively, very happy. We
So
were
let
talking
me
to her.
just, I'm sorry, I just have to ask these questions. So when you did see, when she was with you, when she's knocking on a stranger's door asking for help, my husband's hurting me. She has the baby in her arms and the baby is fine and lively.
Yes.
Meanwhile, her 12-year-old son is still in the care of the husband that she's claiming abusing her.
Correct. Well, then before that, I think it was either a minute before the officer got here or after. I think it was before. My neighbor went up and got the son, brought him down. I had to leave for a moment to take my granddaughter back by my
What?
dog
Okay, I'm sorry. I have to keep asking like other questions. What made you? Because I have to be thorough. What made the other neighbor run up and get the son?
because she's like, you left him up there. So she went up and got him. But
Because
see,
she, and let me also interrupt because they're saying, "Oh my gosh, you're claiming all this stuff on Eli," and but yet you leave your son up there. So your neighbor had the wherewithal to be like, "Oh hell no, let me go get that baby," because this woman was just being abused by this man. Correct?
correct.
Okay,
And what was I going to say?
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. He came down with my other neighbor. I come back, and that's when we were holding the baby. And he's asking her if she wants an ambulance. Could you see the red mark? I mean, honestly, you could, but you couldn't. It was kind of there, but it didn't look like it was there. Do you know what I mean? Like like she slapped herself.
Like she went like that, and then like
Yeah.
there was like a little bit of redness there.
Yeah, yeah. You know what I mean? So he talked to her, and I said to my neighbor, I said, "I have to leave. This is my birthday, and I was celebrating with my children. I couldn't deal with all this." And my neighbor goes, "As soon as the police officer leaves, I'll lock your door." I said, "Okay." So on the next day,
So
which is
I'm gonna stop you again. I'm sorry. I'm gonna do this a million more times. So you know, so she's there. I'm hurt. Baby's okay. Son's with the with Eli. Um, your other neighbor comes, gets. Was there any like when your neighbor got the son from Eli's custody? Did Eli
Eli
put up a fight
Eli was already
about
gone
that?
by then. Eli was already gone by then.
Wait.
Mm.
So did she leave her son unattended? Like because
Okay,
wait. So wait, go ahead.
so when we asked her where he was, she said he was upstairs. So then, like I said, my neighbor went and got him. Before she went up to get him, Eli had already left.
Left on
So,
his own accord.
Yes.
Remember?
so
Yeah.
Eli then left the 12-year-old unattended.
No.
Yes.
y-
Yes.
Oh,
He left
wow.
because he was running from the law, right?
According, no, that was, well, probably yes. I would assume so because we had already called the police and he left before the police got here.
Just so you know, like you met the 12-year-old son,
Yes, once be prior to this.
and
This is when
is that son capable of like knowing what's going on?
no,
Okay, because it's been said
no.
that that the son is like severely autistic. So
Well, he
the
had a tablet that he pushed buttons on to talk.
oh my god.
Okay, and one more question. Did you have any idea about the TV show she was on? Did you ever watch 90 Day Fiance? Did you even know who these people were, or were they just new
Okay,
neighbors?
funny story. No, at first I didn't know who she was. Okay. After it happened, I had somebody text me and say, "Hey, have you ever seen these guys?" And then it dawned on me who it was. So I did watch them, but I didn't realize who they were, before
You
this.
watched it prior, like we all did, years and
Yes,
years ago.
yes, yes.
Okay. And again,
It,
y'all, I have not heard any of this story, so my
I kept
questions
this
are
like
completely
listen, no
raw.
one's heard this because I've only talked to Anna for like since it happened, me and Anna's been talking. Like every time I went live and said I know what's really happened and but I couldn't say anything about it because and here we
And
are.
he didn't even tell
Um
me.
I keep
well,
a secret.
Even
Um
an hour ago,
well,
before he said get ready to go live, he didn't tell me any of this. So I'm so that's why I'm going to stop you. Okay, so the kid's got a tablet that he pushes buttons on to speak because
that's his
he's
only way of
nonverbal.
communicating?
well, I don't know because there was times that he kind of made noises, but I wasn't really paying attention. Do you know? I wasn't like really focused on him anyway. I
Right.
was more
No, I get
focused on
that.
the situation that was going on. So,
So Eli leaves the son who's has, issues by
mhm.
himself. Your neighbor runs up and gets a son that's unattended that can only speak to people via tablet who's by himself now. Where did Eli go in the midst of like what happened? Do you know what happened there?
He got in the car and left.
Huh.
And this is why, remember, John? Remember they couldn't find him, and then they found him the next. Well, not the next. It
Oh, they
was
found him at the
technically the
gas
next
station like 6
day.
hours later, yeah, or whatever.
Right. It was the next day, but it was the same night. But go
Okay.
ahead, Anna.
So then after I left, they got rid of her and the officer. She went upstairs. And then the next day I was leaving to go to my son's house. And about, I want to say 10 something. No, it was earlier than that. It was
Wait, before
about,
you get to the next day, like, what happened like that before the next day happens? So the police are there. She calls the police on Eli being abusive, like that there was a handprint on the face or something like that. And like, what came of that? That you like before the next day happens? Like, what came of that?
he just asked her questions, basically what happened. Did he hit her? She said yes. Did she want an ambulance? She said no. And that was basically it. They really
So then
didn't
she
say
had the baby that that she had on her arms, and then like went, I guess, back. I don't know where she was in correlation to you, like if she was upstairs or like
Well,
down on
she
the
already
floor,
said
whatever.
they were holding the baby. They were trading the baby off while she was talking to the cops. Correct, Anna?
yes, yes,
And then she took the baby and just went on her merry way back up to her apartment.
yes,
Okay.
correct. Okay,
Okay,
so
so the next day.
at 7:31 a.m., she had texted me and asked me if I could take her to get her car.
Now,
And
was that the car that Eli had taken to the gas station where he had gotten arrested?
yes,
Okay, so all right, so to fill in the blanks for everybody who's like doesn't know like the timeline, that night when she knocked on the door, like Eli was being like Eli, and he left. Then hours later, I guess he was drinking and drove to a gas station where he was later arrested on DUI because he had an open canister in the car.
I,
Yes.
I do believe so, yes.
Okay, so at that point, Eli was arrested, and in your opinion, I'm gonna ask this now. Eli could not have done anything to that baby, correct?
Correct.
Number one. Go
Number
ahead, Brooke.
two, can we also review the timeline of that 911 call was placed then after she left Anna's viewpoint, her apartment, and then it struck midnight. And then after that, at what time was it? 2:38 a.m. I can't remember. It's been a long time. That 911 was called, right? Am I remembering that
Uh,
correctly? I just
let me look here. It was after that. It was like 10 or 11. I do
in the
believe.
morning.
Yes, I do believe so. Because at the timeline that I had talked to her, she said that she needed somebody to take her to get her car. And I asked her if she was okay. She said no, her face was numb, blah, 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 basically.
Okay, let me piggyback off that. At
I'm
that
gonna get
point, when
something
she
to write on
texted
real
you,
quick.
yeah, Brooke, get some notes. We need like
I am.
notes. Um, at that point, at 7 o'clock in the morning, like okay, so I guess when the police had come the night before and she made a report or whatever, and then she wanted to get him arrested because they did wind up arresting him, but for DUI and not spousal abuse, which came later. At that point, the first night when she knocked on your door, like, who are you, this crazy person? And she's coming with you with a baby in her arms, saying like, "Oh my God, help me! My husband's doing this to me." And then the police came, and when after that, the first night after that, like the baby was still in good spirits, right? The baby was fine,
Yes.
So 7:31 a.m. You're taking
and
Lita
the
to the
baby was
car, and she's
fine.
got the baby.
Yes.
Oh, Linda. I always do that. I always
It's
call
fine.
my
It's
friend's name
fine.
Linda the wrong name.
It's fine. So the baby was fine and alive and in good spirits, whilst Eli was put into custody.
To keep
Yes.
it from getting impounded, essentially, correct?
I would think so, yeah.
Hmm.
Okay.
So then
And
we communicated for a little bit, and I had told her that once the baby woke up, I would take her to get her car because I was leaving my house at 10 o'clock in the morning to go by my son's.
So at 7:10, or whatever time it was in the morning,
7:31. 7:31.
Yep.
to get you to drop her off to her car where Eric left it because he got arrested. Ugh. Eli
Right.
got arrested,
But
and
she told me that she couldn't because the baby was up all night and she was sleeping at that point.
huh?
She
Okay,
was
so
sleeping.
Linda was sleeping and the baby was up all night.
The baby was up all night and she was sleeping at that point.
Finally sleeping.
Yes, finally sleeping
Got it.
at that point.
So when at 7:31, and this is what, July 5th now.
Yes.
Yes.
The baby's fine, alive, well, but she needs to get to to her car because it's in some gas station parking lot or whatever.
Okay, so at 9:20 a.m.
Mhm.
Hang on, I gotta find it. Yes, it was between 9:20 and 9 something. Well, probably like 9:20 to quarter to 10. I had texted her and said, "I'm ready whenever you are." And she goes, "Baby's still sleeping." I go, "Okay." And she goes, "Good news. I got somebody to tow my car." And I said, "Okay, bye." And then,
So she didn't need you to drop
right,
her off.
right. At
Okay.
3:29 p.m., same day, July 5th,
29 or 39, I'm sorry.
29.
29.
Okay.
29.
29. Inside joke, Anne. Sorry.
She said that she asked if I was home. I said I am now because I wasn't at that point when she had first called me at 3 something in the afternoon.
That's 7 hours later.
She says I'm at the emergency room at Gunderson in town.
Go on.
And then she's like, please pray for us. Please pray for my baby.
So
So
basically, let me recap this. So at 7:31, she's like, "Hey, can you bring me to the car? I got to get this Eli's car. He's fucked up. He got arrested. I need to get my car from impound." Then at 9:20, she texts you texted Linda to bring her to the car, and she said, the baby's still asleep. I can't be bothered with that right now." And then at 15:29 or at 3:29 p.m., Elle asked if A was home, and then she then responded that she's already at the ER. So there's no talk about the baby being injured. There's no talk about the car needing to be picked up. It went from, I need you to help me, but at 9:20 when you were available, she doesn't need you because the baby's still asleep. And then at 15:29 now she's at the ER, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
you're in your military time, Brooke. Good.
That's how
15, 29.
nurses do. I'm sorry.
If you don't know military time, just subtract 12. That's how that works. But okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Anna.
So then I went up to the ER to see how everything was going.
I don't want to
And
smoke my
And
vape
you
on camera.
and by the way, Anna, you were the person that when Miss Linda Martini was doing her story from the hospital, and she was talking about, like, somebody with her. It was you that was with her, right?
no, it was my
Oh,
other neighbor.
The elderly one, remember, John, when she said
That was
whenever
me.
she was,
That was
oh,
me.
she called you the
She was
elderly
talking about.
neighbor?
Yeah.
Okay.
She called me
Because she was
elderly.
saying, remember, she didn't want to keep bothering the neighbor. They were elderly because
So,
this was either talking to Maria or
these are
yep,
Lita's words,
yep,
though. Like,
that's what she was saying.
okay, got you. So you go up to the ER then after at 3:30 p.m.
I had to, like,
Yes.
backtrack a little bit. She asked you, like, and then she texts you out all of the blue, like, pray for me at the hospital. But you had
Yes.
told me something about, like, the way she was holding the baby, like, because
Okay, so I didn't get to see the initial things before the ER because I was not home. But according to my one, she run down
Uh-oh.
Oh
yelling,
God, not
"Help!
now.
Help! Help!"
Okay, so according to your friend, can you repeat that? You were cutting out.
Oh, I'm sorry. She was running up and down, yelling, "Help! Help! Help! Help my baby!"
And she was holding the baby in a precarious manner. No,
Yes.
she. All right, like this is what we need to talk about in this.
Remember,
Before,
Anne had to go to her son's house, remember, at 10 o'clock in the morning.
but this is important because this is what made me feel the way I felt when I talked to Anna the first time, because Linda was making a scene at the apartment complex, holding the baby in a horrible manner.
Yes.
Can you
Yes.
explain that for everybody? Because that's a big, important part of this story.
How do I explain it?
Say it. We're
How
all.
was she holding the baby?
Well, I'm trying to picture how it was because it's been so long. She had her nestled really, really tight towards her,
Hmm.
where like real close to your chest, where what you wouldn't be able to breathe, basically.
Like bear hugging the baby,
Yeah,
not
like
cradling a baby,
no, like
but
her
bear
legs were
hugging it
dangling, like her legs were dangling
around the neck, around the torso.
around the
Which
torso. I
one?
do believe.
Okay.
I do believe it was around the torso.
Okay.
Don't quote me
I've
on
got
that because
something I
I
can
wasn't
mimic
here.
this. Hold
Right,
on.
I
Let me
was.
get something I can mimic this. And I'm
Before,
not trying to
like
be
this
facetious.
is why this is important, because prior to her, I remember you telling me this. Prior to her going to the hospital, she was like running with the baby through like the hallways of your like apartment complex. Like,
And this isn't a baby doll, it's a snowman, but it's the best thing I can do. So we're here and we're holding the baby tight like this, not, you know, like a 5-week old should be held, correct? We're like this. I don't know if you can see me, which is not a problem
Okay,
if
I
you
can
can't.
now. I can now.
Okay,
Yes.
so we're around the waist, legs are here.
I do believe it was like that, but I'm not for sure because I wasn't here.
Okay, okay. And this is
but
all secondhand information from your neighbor, though, that was
Right.
here, that did witness this. Okay.
Right.
but at some point, Linda was running through your apartment complex with the baby not held properly, like saying like help me, like my baby's.
Yes.
Where around what time was that? Would you say?
Well, honestly, I wouldn't know because like she called my phone and I couldn't answer because where I was at, I have no reception.
Mhm.
So I want to say it was between probably like 2:45, 3 maybe.
Okay.
And then my neighbor called me. She was crying and I couldn't understand her. We came back here, I came back here and my daughter was with me and my grandkids. We got back here. My neighbor was sitting on my porch crying hysterically. And then I asked her what had happened. She told me exactly what I
I
told
was,
you.
and I know like you want to like. I know you want to say everything, and I think you're jumping ahead. Like, and that's why I'm here to guide you, because like I know there's a lot of things that you're skipping over, like that you told me,
And I don't
and
know, so
well, yeah, I just want to make sure like we cross every T and dot every I, because that was a big thing that when you told me that, like, when Linda had the baby and she was
well, there's a
holding it
reason the neighbor's
improperly.
crying and
Right.
obviously traumatized. John, what traumatized your neighbor to that point?
Because she held her when she took one of the breaths before the EMTs got here. she thought she had died.
So at
So
the
let's
apartment
rewind a
complex,
little bit.
yeah, we have to rewind a little bit.
Okay.
At the apartment complex, Linda had known that something
Yeah.
was like wrong
Seriously
because,
wrong. Yes. Yes.
and that's a bit, we can't gloss over this because that's a big chunk of like her guilt. So the next day you're there after the 4th of July, Eli's in jail. And she asked you to, like, get her cards like from the gas station. The baby's fine, sleeping, everything's great. And then all of a sudden, the baby's in the hospital.
Yes. Yes.
And, according to, like, your other neighbor, like, Linda was carrying the baby improperly, kind of making a scene.
Help me, help me, help my baby,
Yeah.
help me and my baby.
Yeah.
Then your neighbor interferes, goes in then, and I guess
Not interferes, interjects, I would say.
yeah, not even interjects, but it goes in to help her. And in that helping her, so when was 911 called and all that? Help me, help me.
I'm
When?
not sure.
Okay,
Like I
because you
said, I
weren't
wasn't
there.
here. Right.
Right.
So that
But
Intervenes.
at
was
Good
some
word.
point during that day, Linda had the baby who was just not, whether alive or half alive or barely breathing, I don't know. Like, because I remember you telling me something where, like, the baby, she was carrying the baby around like the apartment complex, like, just like, like a Cabbage Patch Kid show, like, just like, and not
Like limbs,
really,
like limbs were
yeah,
limp, limbs were
flailing.
flailing, just limp versus a baby with tenacity in their muscles that wouldn't be. I mean, I hate to even be like that. Like, I'm just trying to give a good visual of what was going
No, let's be
on.
as clear and concise
And
as possible.
I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm just saying, like, you know what a baby looks like when you're carrying them with
Mhm.
their legs. They usually hike them up a little bit. You've got kids, Anna, versus limp as a rag doll.
Right.
Like,
Right.
do you know what I mean?
Yep.
So that was happening, and then your neighbor has seen all this, and then at what point did your neighbor then grab the baby, hold the baby before EMS took her? And was that baby conscious when EMS got there? That is a huge
See,
question.
that I don't know. That part I don't know
Okay.
because, like I said, I wasn't home. So, according to what I was told, that she took a couple of breaths, and then when the EMTs got here, they brought her back and they took her to the hospital.
Meaning brought her back with CPR.
Life.
Yes. Yes.
Oh my God, that's exactly what I thought.
First off,
So that
thank
means
you
the
so
baby
much. Hold on,
when she
Brooke, wait. Anna, I know this is very hard for you to talk about, and like,
Yeah.
yes,
if,
thank
if
you.
me if me and Brooke are asking you questions, like, it's not like in like we don't believe you. I just want to make sure, because everyone's gonna dissect this like word for word, and I want to make sure that, like, what's being said, like, I want the message to be out. So, like, if me and Brooke stop you, it's not because, like, oh, I believe
It's
we believe, I believe you every word you said, Anna, and, like, I know you're a good person. I don't want you to think that when me and Brooke stop you, it's like, oh, we don't believe you. I believe every word you say. I'm just trying to, like,
And we already know the answers to these questions we're asking you. We're getting you to verify them as an
yeah.
eyewitness. But I will have you know that is what the biggest question was this whole entire time was, did CPR happen on scene? That is so important. That means that baby was either not alive or nearly not alive before 911 was called. Yet here she is, according to everything you've said, which I truly believe. She can't get up at 9 o'clock. She's already asleep at 7:31. She's too sleepy to go right now. But yet here we are at around 14:45 to 1500. 911's being called and having to resuscitate this 5-week-old on scene, and that is huge. So thank you for clearing that up.
Oh, that
Thank
was
you.
great, and which you saw like hours before, healthy, happy, like
Lively. She said
lively
lively,
and all that.
happy. I'm so grossed out. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Go
yeah.
ahead,
And
uh,
like, if I keep like
Anne.
cutting you off, I just
Anna.
because a lot of
It,
people are gonna be
it's
dissecting this.
it's okay. I had to take a moment. Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. And like you are a real hero for like doing this right
You really
now and
are.
talking to us about this, and like and everyone in chat appreciates you. Like I just had to make sure that like we really cross every T and dot every I,
Let me
and
also
because this
sassy.
is
No, the
serious
babies,
serious shit we're
people don't
talking about.
come just because you get a heartbeat or a pulse back does not mean brain damage has not occurred, which it obviously did. Just because you get a heartbeat back after or cardiopulmonary resuscitation does not mean that you're not vitally damaged with your brain, then your kidneys, then your other vital organs. Just, so let me make that clear too, because obviously we know the baby suffered such horrific fucking injuries that she was put on a ventilator and never came off. So let me make that clear too. The reason a baby never comes off a ventilator or any human being is because their brain doesn't understand, there's no connection in your brainstem to make you breathe anymore. Okay, so what we know now that's happened is she's running up and down these stairs asking for help with a flailing, lifeless little newborn that has to be resuscitated on scene. That might have gotten a pulse rate back, but that means that could be PEA or pulseless electrical activity on a monitor or whatever the case may have been. But just because they got her back to be transportable doesn't mean she was viable at that point. I hope that makes sense.
Yes.
5 minutes without oxygen to the brain and you're done. 5. And this is a
And
span from 7:30 in the morning to 3 p.m. in the afternoon, 8 hours. I'm disgusted.
fine and okay and lively and happy and whatever, just like hours beforehand, right? So
Yes.
we're talking the scope of like a few hours between like the baby and in Linda's care, because Eli was already at the gas station. I don't know if he was arrested already, but he was there, got arrested at the gas station. So the only person that could have done anything to that baby was Linda. But Anna,
With the injuries, in my opinion, she doesn't even have to answer that. With the injuries that were sustained, in my opinion, a fractured back with, brain swelling, as she put it, which to me, I don't know if that was a hematoma to the brain, meaning which would have meant trauma to the brain as a initial injury, with a secondary injury of trauma to the back. Um, I don't, since there's no autopsy, we can only speculate on that. But in my opinion, it takes blunt force trauma to cause either of those injuries. Now, Anna, I want to ask you one more question. Who called 911? Do you know that?
No, I do not.
For the baby? Okay.
No.
Okay.
right, so Anna, let's go back to the next day, and um so Linda asked you to pray for her.
Mm-hmm.
She sent you a text, right?
Correct.
Okay, so then walk us through what happens next. So you get to, and we know that you were at the hospital, so walk us through what happens next.
Okay, so I went to the ER and they were in a room off the main part of the emergency room where you walk in. And she was laughing, carrying on, talking.
Laughing.
Oh my
Yes.
God.
And this is what time
So,
did you go to the ER
oh
about?
my God, I am so fucking
Sorry.
disgusted. I'm sorry.
So I text my other neighbor that was with her. She came out, we went outside, we talked. Then the officer came out and because he was in his vehicle, he came over and my other neighbor talked to him and he asked me about the night before.
I'm sorry.
because he
I
knew
had to
that I
stop
had been
again.
there.
I'm sorry. I had to stop you again because that's who I am, and I'm sorry. But you're telling me, and I believe you, but I just have to make this very fucking clear. When Lita's at the hospital, you witness her having a good time and laughing and giggling with people.
Yes.
So you're running to the ER like, holy
Wait,
shit.
Brooke. Her
Sorry.
5-week-old baby is either at death's door or dead, and she's at the hospital laughing and giggling and having a good time.
Yes.
Don't cry, Anna. I know this is
I'm sorry,
traumatic for you.
like Anna, I'm sorry.
And we're
Like,
not deposing you or any
no,
of this.
Anna,
It's just,
I'm
or
sorry,
grilling you.
Anna.
Don't cry.
Anna, don't cry. You are
You did the right thing. You're the hero here, ma'am.
the hero, and you're speaking up about it now. And like Anna,
I
please
feel
don't
so
cry
bad
because
for
you're gonna
her.
make me cry. But like, listen
You're
to
gonna
me, you
make me
guys.
cry.
To everybody right now. I have spoken to Anna since this started, since it started happening. Like the car picture, like with the license plate, like me and Anna have been like talking this whole time. And that's why I was so steadfast in saying to everybody, I know that she did this, but I can't tell you about it yet because there's police and all this stuff, and like we've been waiting, and this horrible situation, and Anna is doing God's work right now and coming forward and speaking about it. And me and Anna said, like, when the time is right, we will go live and we will talk about it. And then tonight just happens to be the night where, like, it's been 5 months since poor baby Alyssa has been murdered. And I will say murdered because she was. And, this woman, Linda, gets to walk free, write books, try to be like a New York Times bestseller, do all this shit, and make a mockery of everything she's ever done and every crime she's ever committed that she's got out of. And like, this should be on the side button.
Okay, we need to let Anna speak, says the chat.
I'm
Go
sorry, Anna.
ahead,
Go ahead.
Anna. We'll ask questions later, and I'll write down the questions to ask.
So when I got to the emergency room, I had talked to the officer and I gave him my opinion about her having her son. And then we walked up towards the emergency exit. And
Wait. I'm sorry. I got to stop you again. When you got to the emergency room, why did a police officer talk to you? Like, this should be like, okay. The
okay,
police have to have known something was going on. Like, otherwise they wouldn't be questioning people. Like, if this was a true thing, where like the baby was like, just sick or whatever, like, there wouldn't be police involved in that. Right, Brooke, or not? Like,
We have to let her
if you
finish.
bring your
I have
baby
to
to
let her
an ER
let
and the
let her
baby's sick.
let her finish what she's saying. That
Okay,
way we can
I'm
kind of
sorry. Go ahead,
derive.
Anna.
We can
I'm
kind
sorry.
of let's actually try to let her talk as long as possible. And I will
Okay.
literally write down every question that you have to ask because we were thinking on the same exact wavelength. Go ahead, Anna.
so he asked me about what the night before, and I explained to him what I seen. And then we were talking closer towards the exit of the ER, and she
Hmm.
comes out with her son, and they're talking and laughing. And he
Wait.
pulled me back a little bit and he talked to me, and I said, I don't think this child is safe. And then that's one of the other comments were made that somebody had seen an old elderly lady talking to the officer,
That was
which
you.
that was me. But I'm not old and I'm not elderly by
You
any
don't. Yeah.
means. But, and then I left. I ended up taking my other neighbor back home here. And then she came back and got clothing and left for the hospital.
Your neighbor went to go be with Linda.
Yes, she was with Linda
Okay.
at the emergency room.
Okay. So you see her, ha ha, he, and what's funny is there are Instagram story posts to back that up with her son in the back seat, her saying, yeah, da da da, acting so nonchalant, like a mother never would when her child's in that predicament. Talking about this stuff, and then your neighbor then goes and gets a overnight bag to go back to be with Linda.
No. Linda came back and got an overnight bag to go to the
Okay,
hospital.
got you. Leaves the critically injured newborn clinging to
Okay,
life to go
but
get an
at the
overnight bag.
hospital, Linda, it just smiles and giddy, like, not the attitude that somebody or the behavior of someone who just, was pregnant for 9 months, has a 5-week-old baby and lost the baby, or like the baby's severely hurt. Like nobody on earth. I mean, I'm not a parent, but I don't I don't think anybody who, and I'll never be a mom, but I,
I
I
think we
I can't see anybody who has had their baby severely hurt going to the
John,
hospital and laughing and being giddy with people at the fucking hospital.
listen, this is what we need to do. I want you to get your phone notes out. I want Anna to tell her whole story. Let's not even talk, and we might mute, and we'll write down all of our questions to
I
ask her
get that,
after the
Brooke, but
fact.
I have to jump in because
I know that's what you feel
I
like
know
doing, but it's
Anna. I know
breaking the
Anna
story
wants to
up.
say what she has to say, but I have to put it in places where it lines up, because Anna has gone through a lot. Poor Anna. By the way, guys, Anna has been through the fucking woods with this. Linda, fuck it. Lita was a stranger to this woman. Lita tried to pawn herself on to some innocent person that was getting wronged by her husband and being attacked. And then Anna didn't know Lita from a hole in the wall.
I just say we let Anna tell her entire story. And I know you want to interject, but every
No,
time you want to interject, please, because even the chat's trying, it's hard to follow. So let her tell her
okay,
story and then we'll ask all these questions after. I know it's
fine.
hard to do because I want to interject too. And I'm going to stop. So
Sorry,
you
Anna.
stop too.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead, Anna.
Okay. So she left here the same day, the 5th, to go to the hospital in Madison. She texted me the next day, the 6th of July, and said that the baby had died. And then I text
What
her
date was that?
and the 6th.
Not the death date, just like she told everybody else. Go ahead, Anna.
It was July 6th is when she told me that the baby had died.
Mhm.
And I said, I am so sorry for your loss. We asked her when there was going to be a funeral. She told us she'd let us know. And then I confronted her about calling me an old elderly lady. And she got kind of really grumpy with it. And she's like, well, in my country, that's being respectful. I said, in the United States, that's not being respectful. I said, that's very wrong.
It's just a
And
bar.
she said some other stuff. I can't remember everything. And then I told her, I said, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want nothing to do with you. I said, the only thing I'm concerned about is the baby. When is the funeral so we can pay our respects to this baby? She texted me back and said, we're not having a funeral. We're doing a private thing. And that was Eli's wishes.
Okay,
And
go ahead.
that's, I haven't talked to her since.
Can I jump in?
Of course, I think she's done with her story now. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I'm not. This is your panel. I just was listening or reading the chat.
No, listen, I
We can
get
go
it.
through it all again. So
Anna,
she tells you. Go ahead. Sorry.
when you were at the hospital, wasn't
Yes.
didn't the medical examiner say that Lita killed the baby?
I did not hear any of that because I was standing outside talking to the officer.
I thought
Yeah,
that
go
is
ahead.
a question. The baby did not die until the 9th of July. Is that correct? I got to look at my calendar. And also, the baby was on life support for 5 days, correct?
See,
5.
I don't know because she told me the baby died on the 6th.
Hold on.
But the baby didn't
That was
die on the
this,
sixth.
that was the baby died on Wednesday the 9th, according to Eric's or Eli's post on Facebook. So and there's been no, let me make this clear, death certificate, nothing, which is it's a great thing to me that there's not been a death certificate, a cause of death, or an autopsy report that's been reported for all of this. And in my opinion, I truly believe it's because they want to get this animal abuse case out of the way to give the DA almost a clean cut, easy ass case to go on with this M charge, right? But according to Eli, the baby was on life support for 5 days, which also indicates to me that the baby was dead on arrival to the ER, which I've been saying since the beginning of this, which matches up to Anna's reports of a lifeless, flailing infant that's been run up and down the stairs that's had to be resuscitated on the scene, right? The baby was dead on the scene.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the only thing they got was a heartbeat. And that's all you have to put a person on life support, no matter what the age is. All you have to have is a glimmer of hope. So they got a pulse rate back. They intubated the baby, whether it was in the ambulance, on the scene, or in my opinion, it would have been in the ambulance. Right when you get a pulse back, you're put the ET tube down, you're given the drugs, you're doing all the things. And so you're able to keep a body alive for that long. And anybody can stay alive forever, essentially, on life support, given certain circumstances like brain death. Okay. That's one circumstance you can keep somebody alive forever. That's why you hear about the cases with the lady in Florida with the feeding tube and blah, blah, blah. Because as long as your other organs are intact, you can keep somebody alive essentially forever. So we know by what Eric posted that it was a 5 long day fight on life support, according to Eli. And I keep getting my E's confused. So, uh, uh, and maybe this isn't even anything you can answer, but I'm just kind of running this timeline back through everybody so that y'all all remember. But as far as what you said was, and I'm not taking notes to keep track of what you said, I'm just keeping track of it, that she is, oh, sorry. ER. So the cops were there. They're questioning you about what happened. They're asking why. What's the opinion? Like, what do you think about the son, Anna? I mean, do you think this son's in danger?
I
What's
want to
going
know
on with
what
the
the cops
son?
asked you. I
Yeah.
want to
Okay.
know like what the cops asked you, like, and like it's unusual for cops to get involved in like something
So
like
do you
this.
want?
So
So my question is, you want to know when the investigators talked to me or what the cops talked to me about,
both.
or both?
Both.
Okay. The officer asked me at the ER what my opinion was about what happened the night before, and I told him. And I said,
What did you tell them?
I told them the whole story of what happened when she came into my apartment when I was holding the baby, how happy she was, how beautiful and magnificent this little girl was. She was very, very vibrant. She was happy. And I said, I just don't feel that the son is safe. And then, God, I don't even know what date it was, but I
Here's
got
the
a phone.
thing with her son. She like, did you know that she went to Indonesia and dropped the son off at the grandparents' house?
No, no, I
Not,
did
no,
not.
I'm not scoffing at you. I'm
Right, right.
scoffing at like at the point that like she was trying to cover her fucking tracks.
Then I got a phone call that an investigator wanted to talk to me. So they asked me the same questions that they asked everybody. And I said, well, I'm going to be honest, I was not here that morning. And I told them, I sent them all the text messages that I had. And they took my name, my number, and that was the last time I talked to them.
And how long ago was that?
Well, how long has it been? 5 months? 6 months?
5 months almost. Yeah.
Yep. Since then. It was right after it happened. After they claimed that she had passed on the 9th.
So, from what was stated tonight, from your own testimony, there was no way in hell anybody but Linda could have done something to that baby to make such a vibrant baby just not be alive in the scope of hours, correct?
Correct. She was so beautiful, John.
I'm sorry, sweetheart. Like I don't mean to. Oh, God damn it! Listen. This is out of my purview. Like like I talk about like Botox with reality stars and like oh, this one's not what, but this is serious shit that we're talking about. And oh God,
Sorry, I had
my
to go to the
God.
restroom. I have a question.
Take
So,
over for a second, please.
yes, I can. So, in other words, Linda told you that the baby died on the 6th, but then the officers, the investigators that came to you said, this baby died on the 9th. And do you have any information? Is that correct?
They didn't tell me when the baby died,
Mm.
but they just asked me if I was there the day of, and I said no. I was here the night before. And they asked me if she was okay then. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Take your time, baby. I know this is, I would be traumatized by this, especially if I'm sitting there holding a baby. Everything's fine and dandy. There's a little bit of a tough at the house. No big deal. We need to go get the car. And all of a sudden, oh, but the baby's asleep. Was the baby? And my question is, this is what I wonder, and only the medical examiner is going to know: was the baby really asleep, or was the baby already deceased? And that's I got to be earth shattering in and of itself. So I understand, and take your time, and thank you for explaining this to all of us, because we have been screaming this from the beginning, and only because I have the medical knowledge to know that there's nothing that can happen to an infant that was well and observed well, and then only in company of one parent. And then while in that company of one parent, suffering injuries that can only be described as either a baby that was thrown, or a baby that was shaken, or and there was if there was no obvious injuries outside of, like, in other words, like if you're hit with something, you'll have an external bruising. So, but if you're thrown and you have an internal hush, subdural hematoma, or something that's internal bleeding, is what you call. Sorry, I'm gonna have to hush till my granddaughter hushes up. Are you gonna be quiet? Her name's Basil Martini. Isn't that funny? That's her real name. But so, in my honest opinion, whether I love or hate Linda, the point of the matter is that no matter what, and I happen to know for a fact, just because of cases I've observed in Wisconsin, or a case that I observed in Wisconsin, that they seem to be extremely good old boy. We don't want no shit. Like, we don't want any bad checks on our names for diplomatic reasons or political reasons. And I know that firsthand, just because I went really deep into a case in 2016. I'm sure you're aware of it, the Stephen Avery case. And so I know that this system in that state is really corrupt at the finest. So I'm
You
just,
have no clue.
I do though. I do. I have a little bit of a clue, not as much as you because you live there, but
No,
Especially in this small
Anna,
town
expunge
that
on
I'm
that.
in.
You have no clue. Tell us.
It's
she is.
it's it let's just say it's if you are well known, things are different for you. If you are a person that has a say bad last name, you are pretty much railroaded into whatever they want to do to you.
So it doesn't mean that particular hemorrhages aren't necessarily going to be present with a subdural or any kind of a brain bleed. You're not always going to have particular hemorrhages, Marielle, but that's a good point. But what I'm trying to say is a fractured back and increased cerebral spinal fluid on the brain. Whether that was one injury that happened, like say that the fracture
Brooke,
happened and
stop
then
for 1
the
second.
CSF.
Sorry. Don't forget that when Lita went live from IG, she said, well, I was holding the baby and Eric hit me and must have slapped the baby. Let's not forget that part.
Yeah, she said there was trauma, blunt force to the baby caused by Eli. Or no, sorry, that she was slapped, that one that you barely saw the outline on. She was claiming that the reverb from that caused whatever happened to
Like
the
a
baby,
ricochet. Right.
but more like a jolt. So to me, that's making it sound like she knew the baby was somehow jolted and she's blaming it on this slap, which is wild and stupid and crazy and she's supposed to be a doctor, so she should know better than any of this bullshit to begin with,
And
because if you
Eric
watch the
was in
show.
custody at this time. So there's no way Eli could have had anything to do with this. And how I feel,
Nope.
never mind. So, Anna, when the police are questioning you, like, did you feel like when the police were talking to you, did the police feel like there were like something nefarious at bay?
I'm not sure, but when the investigators talked to most of us here when they were here, because they had, let's see, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 vehicles, black SUVs here in her apartment.
Really?
Really?
Yes.
Hmm. When was
And when
that?
was that?
I don't know what date it was because it's all a blur. I mean, the day that I got the phone
After
call,
the death.
yeah, I do believe it was after that. They talked to me and they went through the 4th of July of that night when it happened here. And then they asked me if I was here when it happened. And I said, no, I was not. And then he's like, here's my card. Here's my name. He took my name, my number, and I sent him all the screenshots of all the text messages that we carried on from the 5th until the day of her telling me that the baby had passed.
So what is your opinion on the fact that there's not been any, well, and I won't say there's no movement on, because again, we don't have a cause of death, a death certificate. So
Autopsy, nothing.
autopsy, but not that the autopsy would be made public because it's a minor. But we do have a Facebook post from that sheriff's department. Is it Allen County? I can't remember. Where
Adams.
they're saying there's Adams.
Adam.
Thank you. Adams County Sheriff's Facebook post saying that this was a death investigation under, suspicious circumstances or whatever the case was, and you've heard nothing else about it. In my opinion, I'm hoping that they're waiting to get the animal abuse charges on her locked in, and then maybe they will follow up then with the uh, child murder investigation. But it also seems like they're really dragging their feet on this. Like, why and for what reason? Because I mean, have you been in contact with them after the fact, after these all
No,
5 months of?
they have not talked to me or any of the other witnesses since they investigated with them going through the apartment.
Back in
So how
July.
how the other witnesses feel about this? Have y'all talked about it? What do y'all think? I mean, honestly, what do you think
Okay,
happened?
we've all cried. We have all been so angry with the fact that nothing's been done.
Mhm.
And the sad part is that baby's never going to get justice. Never.
I have to agree with her on that.
It's
Don't
never
say
going to be a justice thing.
I have to agree with Anna on that because that's why we're here now. Because I texted Anna earlier, before this live started, obviously, and I said, "Have you heard anything from the police?" And Anna said no. And I said, "Well, I think it's because we were like we've been keeping quiet about it because waiting. We didn't want to like interrupt the police investigation or, screw
I
up
had
anything that would keep Lita off the street. But Lita is running
I
ragged.
had to I basically had to wait until things were different here per se.
what do you mean different?
Her leaving
Okay.
for her to
When did
move
she
out.
leave?
Well, actually, that's a good segue. Anna, can you tell us about like your apartment complex and like because you have a beautiful complex, like what kind of like you live in a complex like where like you're capped
There's
at a certain income, right?
yes, you have to
And
be
it's
low
for good
income.
people like you and me because I don't make money, like and like I like listen, like and there are a lot of places like that, like we're allowed like where
Okay,
you don't have to live in shit for being like middle class or poor.
as I
And
put it for myself, I am so broke I gotta roll pennies to get things.
you're my
Um,
people. I get you.
it is a very I don't know how to explain it. It's for people that are very low income or on like a fixed income basically. And
Right,
how
and
she
then
got in here is beyond me.
well, how did she get in there? Because
I don't
obviously
know.
she has this trucking company, all
You
this
know,
stuff that she's making. She's a world renowned author.
oh,
She
really?
has rice cookers for sale. Like I how
Yeah,
is
it
she
was the
even
one she had
allowed
in
to
her
move in?
apartment.
And she's not there anymore, right?
No.
Yeah, like how can you drive an Audi and like live in that place?
Yeah. And she got a brand new one too.
And
Yeah.
That's the number.
what's
J
that
Free
number, Brooke?
Gas.
What's that
That's
number,
the
Brooke?
Adams County Sheriff's Office. J Free
Which
Gas for the
everyone
number.
should call because they're dragging their feet. And like one of the reasons why we did this live tonight was because like it's been 5 fucking months. Poor Alyssa, like you know, this baby deserves better.
Yeah.
She
Not even a
was
funeral.
she was
Not
so
even a
Not a
sweet.
funeral.
funeral,
She
and
was so
like
sweet. She had the beautifulest black hair you could ever ask for. She was so lively. It,
I
it
just
breaks
feel
my
so
heart.
sorry for. Go ahead. Sorry.
It breaks my heart.
and in the scope of 24 hours, once Linda knocked on her door saying like, "Oh, my husband's like abusive," whilst leaving her 12-year-old in the husband's care, which is also abusive, comes to you with all this, drops on your doorstep, and you're just somebody who is a good a good human being with empathy in their heart, and wants, and you got you.
How do your neighbors feel? Are they as upset as you are? Are they
Oh
as
yeah.
torn up as you are?
Oh yeah.
And like Star said, make noise, bang your pans together, call them, make a stink about this, and we'll do the same. We will support you because this is bullshit. Like, I can't go down my road and go over 45 miles an hour without getting a speeding ticket. Not that this is even relates, but the point is that different police departments in different states are different. And if they don't, I truly feel sometimes if they don't want to fuck with something, they ain't gonna fuck with it. It's like, and I hate to say that, but I just feel like this is what's happening here. Is it's slipping through the cracks? Either that, or the DA has got a strategic position and waiting for other charges to go through. Hopefully, that's the case, but I don't know at this point.
I
And
really don't know about it here. I mean, there
mhm,
is a case that happened which hits really close to my home. A year ago, my aunt and my cousin was murdered,
I'm so
and
sorry.
their killer is still in jail.
So you've gone through your litany of horrendousness.
Yep.
So what happened with that case? I'm so sorry, my dog. I've got extra dogs here.
Well, we're still waiting. He's been in jail a year.
And in your opinion, did Lita do something bad to her baby?
In my opinion,
In your opinion, as a human being,
as a mother, as a grandmother, yes.
and I think from what we've spoken on in the past, the other neighbor that you said that was involved, does she feel the same way?
We all three do.
And when you talked to the police, did you tell them that?
They never asked that. They never asked me that, anyways. Because technically, I wasn't, well, obviously, I wasn't home when it happened. So they didn't
So,
ask me.
did they treat the apartment like a crime scene at
Oh,
all?
if you would have seen what they were doing, yes.
They did. Well,
As far
that's
as what I was
reassuring.
told, yes.
Crime scene tape, the whole nine.
No crime scene tape, but they had people up there for hours.
And now it's been
Because
5 months. When's the last time you heard anything from the police about the investigation?
I haven't, except for the day they investigated me.
I'm sorry. Like I'm trying not to cut you off. Like
I'm sorry.
I
Also, if anybody's trolling in here, like, don't do that right now. Like, we're
my
not
mom.
going live.
Listen, there's a lot of wrenches in here. Like, block any asshole in my live right now. Like, I don't care who they fucking are. Block them. If you
You're
have a
right,
wrench,
Star.
if
The
you have
baby
a wrench,
wasn't dead
use
on the
it.
scene. You're right. Thank you for making me come to realization. There wouldn't have been crime scene tape because the baby had a pulse before she left the premises. So thank
Yep.
you. KK, what the fuck? Can you have a little
Block her.
decorum?
No, block.
Like, come on. We're not talking about our community
Just no, no,
drama.
no,
We're
Brooke,
talking
no, no,
about a
no, Brooke,
baby.
no. Don't sully this with this community bullshit. KK's a nasty. Do not sully this. Block KK. This is not about anything but this community. It's about a child killer. That's
that's
it.
on the loose, that's writing novels, that's living her best life, that's striking John, that's doing all the fuck
No, it
shit
doesn't
that's
matter.
in.
All what matters right now is what Anna is saying. Like, and
Oh,
everything on
I
YouTube
know.
does not matter. This is what we're talking about right now. I don't like.
But what matters is the mother is carrying on like there's nothing going on. She's in striking your channel. She's on in community post comments. She's acting like this. She's writing books, fiction, hot,
How do
steamy
you
romance
Anna?
novels.
Anna, how do you feel about that? Like, you had said, Anna, that when she was in the hospital, she was laughing, giggling, while her 5-week-old was like,
Clinging to life.
and then she told you that the baby had passed, but then the baby was still alive for like what, 3 or 4 days afterwards?
I'm very angry and very upset, and I do not use this word at all because to me it's a very strong word, but I can't stand her and I hate her.
You have all the right to hate somebody who could be so fucking horrid.
I
And like, go ahead.
I've never used that word unless it's something I really don't like, but that word for her is the perfect word. I hate her and I hope karma gets her.
So you feel that she had did what she had done. The neighbors feel she had done which, and I knew this woman for a long time, and after she beat the dog, I could, especially, and I know that Anna, you've been watching on YouTube, and since this all happened, and we've been talking this whole time, and you've seen me go live several times about what she's up to, about her being an author now, and
Yeah,
this, that, and the
that one
other.
shocked me.
Um,
I can't fathom her being an author.
so this woman, Linda, was all giggles and having fun at the hospital. Wouldn't that scream guilt? And that's why you feel the way you do, and just like your friend, the neighbor, does too. And what happened afterwards? Afterwards, like, the baby passed away. Even though she lied to you and said the baby died when it didn't, because the baby was still alive, because she didn't care. And I went live and I said that, like, no matter what the situation is, like, and listen, I'm not a parent and I never will be. And I don't know what it's like to have like a child. I never will. All I can relate to is my cats and my husband. But you know, my argument was that if my husband Cody, something tragic happened to him and he was taken to the hospital, and maybe he was a vegetable, I don't fucking know. But I certainly would not be at the hospital giggling and having a good time when someone who I love so fucking dearly is on the scope of death, if not dead already. And she's telling everybody, like you, Anna, that, oh, the baby died, but the baby was still alive for four more fucking days. And like, if it was my husband, like, I wouldn't care what it would take. Like, I would have him plugged into every fucking machine known to man. If the police are telling me he's going to be a vegetable, I would say I don't fucking care. I want to make sure and dot every dot every I and cross every T, like I said earlier on this live, to make sure, like, that he was okay or not okay. But she, from what you just said, when she was at the hospital, she was giggling and laughing with who with the police, Anna.
I No, I think it was a nurse, or I think it was a nurse.
Brooke, if it was your kids or one kid of yours, Brooke,
Hmm.
and this, Would you be giggling and laughing, or would you be like sobbing?
Absolutely not. I'd be hysterical, and I'd probably need like uh, I don't know, an intervention at that point. I would be just like, I mean, I've been there. It's not been with a kid, but it's been with my father. I've been at a hospital where a family member has coded and passed away, and if I was this way and completely unconsolable and like just out of body experience with my father, I can't even make up in my brain what it would be like to have a child in that position. So the only thing I can compare it to is a parent. So, and I know how I was with that. So with a child, no. Uh, and I don't ever want to even know what that's like, to be honest. It makes me sick to even think about.
Well, Rita, my mod, just had a baby. Like, not just had a baby, but like, and I think anybody would, if it's just so weird, like in the scope of like less than 24 hours, like the baby was good and happy and lively and until like, and the only person that had anything to do with the baby was Linda.
With
Eli
injuries that could
was
only
being
have been
arrested.
sustained. And it would be one thing if she, said she was all upset about Eli being arrested and she was, upset and she dropped the baby. But even in those DMs with Maria, she says, what did she say exactly? Do y'all remember, chat? She said, the baby was fine. I saw, the baby, she kept reiterating how the baby was fine right before the 911 call. She even says it. But now, according to Anna, and who I do believe you, Anna, I'm saying according to you because I have to say
No.
it like that. She was fine. You called her. She called you at 7:31 to get the car, but at 9:20 to 9:45, the baby was asleep. So, according to the mother, the baby was breathing,
And then you have
pink,
this text
not
from Leah
cyanotic.
to Eric saying like, "Oh, you know what? Who cares? Let's try for the son we always wanted."
After the
What?
fact, though,
Oh,
oh yeah,
Shauna.
that was after she was trying to rekindle shit with Eli to make this all go away. She rescinded her freaking RO
Restraining
that she
order.
had that she demanded on the 6th. From and then the cops were like, "Oh, can you just be a little lenient? Can we just drop the RO so that Eli can go see his daughter before she's taken off life support?" And she's like, no, no, no. But then that day she just decides to do it, and there's court paperwork saying she rescinded that RO. But only, and then also we have witnesses that were talking to her saying that she was begging to talk to Eric, begging Eric to get back with her, beg, 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 beg. And then you have this book that, by the way, she could have put out overnight on fucking Amazon. That shit doesn't have to be written 6 months before. She could have chat GPT that shit and put it right into an Amazon template and gotten a book written in 24 hours because that's how that works.
So
Calling
she,
him this iconic man, this blah 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 foopita. Like this bitch is nuts.
But Eli, from the text message that I had from him, which I
Mm,
showed him live, he was saying that Linda was the one that did it. But then they got
okay,
back together, and then all
yes,
got
they did.
erased, right? Because they're happy again. Like when Geneva texted Eric and was getting all this information from him, which we posted on a live. Eric had no problem saying that Lita did it. Not one issue. Not one issue. Eric was saying Lita did it. Lita was saying Eric did it. And now they're together, happy as fucking clams.
mm-hmm.
And
In
Anna, let
cahoots.
me ask you, Anna, you still there?
Yeah.
Tell me about like how like afterwards how Lita and Eric would go meet each other. Tell the world about that. How they would get dressed up and all that shit.
Oh yeah, they get dressed up. All right, they'd leave for a weekend in the red car.
So in the vet,
Yes.
so Eric would come with the vet and pick Lita up at the apartment complex where like you can't have a certain amount of money, but Lita has an Audi and Eric has a vet, and they're all like trying to scam another fucking place, and then like weeks, not even weeks, 1 week, 2, how many weeks after Anna did Eric start showing up, and then they would go out and hit the town, paint the town red.
I don't.
Ugh.
God, I don't remember. I don't remember what I had told you.
But there was a point where Eric was
Yeah, well, he
picking
was
her up.
spending the night. He was spending the night a lot too.
And this is the same Eric that was saying, "Oh, Lita killed my baby." But then they got over it real quick because I got the screenshots of Lita telling Eric that, "Oh, we'll get the son we always wanted. Screw the daughter."
What? Are you freaking kidding me?
No. I'm not.
Wow.
It was
How
all
could you
written
do
out
that
in
as a
text.
mother?
'Cause
How
isn't it
could you do
weird
that?
that Lita had Eric arrested, and then he was gone, and then he was saying that Lita killed the baby, and Lita was saying he killed it, and now they're back together thick as fucking thieves, and then Lita sends Eric a screenshot saying, "Let's just get the son we always wanted and screw the kid, screw the daughter."
Wow.
And they're all, both of them, you know, I don't think Eric had a hand in
No,
the
I don't
murder
think so.
of his child.
I don't think so.
But this guy has no problems in taking her back. Because when Eric was in custody and after he came out, before that, you know, before like the restraining order was rescinded, he had no problem calling Lita out for being the horrible fucking person that she is. But then I don't know what Lita has on Eric, but she got him to like not only like drop all of it, but like now they're all together. Like, you know, you told me that Eric would show up with the Corvette at the apartment complex and like take her out, and they would go to Wisconsin Dells and like, you know, have a good old fucking time together. Yeah. Ugh.
And before she moved out, he was staying here.
So
He would spend the night. Yeah. He'd come here and spend the night.
look at this asshole. This is old news. This is old news because nobody heard this story today. This is old news. Is that you, Lita? Oh my god. Lita murdered her child. You have an eyewitness here in Anna saying that the baby was fine. And then the next day, the baby wasn't, who was in Lita's care. And anybody trying to defend Lita with her, what, 18 felonies that she's still that she's still facing or whatever. Someone who stole from companies over and over and over again. And she literally gets away with murder. Over and over. She already killed people in Japan. No one cares. And you know what the sad part is, that Lita will get away with murder now for this baby. That's why we went live. Because no one seems to give a fuck about poor baby Alyssa. Not her mother or her father. Not the mother that killed her, or the father that turns a blind eye to it. And that's where we are. So to everybody defending Lita, I'll have her babysit your kids for you. She'll babysit for you. You need a babysitter in Wisconsin? I'll have Lita do it for you. Who's gonna sign up?
Hasn't she like already endeavored on a new real estate career, and not only the like authorship, but isn't she also a new real estate? Because and I don't think you got this because Jenny sent this to me. I'm sure she didn't send it to you. Um, it was her new LinkedIn profile. I forgot to send this to you, John. Hold, please. I'll read it or I'll
Well, you
send
know
it
what?
to you
Me and
either
Jenny
way.
started this together, so Jenny should be a part of this because
She
Jenny
should.
was. She should, and
I'm not saying she shouldn't. But she did send me this, which is extremely interesting. Hold, please. Let me just send.
make this clear to people in the comments. This has got nothing to do with this fucking community, and I will block anybody who talks about this community because this
I'm
is not
muting because
about this community.
my dog is freaking.
This is about Lita who murdered her child. And she's getting away with murder not once, but twice. And good for her, I guess.
All right,
She's just gonna get it out of every fucking
it's
thing.
coming. It's coming, and she also completely defends her position on her book and whatnot. We didn't get that far, but she calls it a steamy romance novel. Evidently, they end up having sex and all kinds of stuff at the end. And let me also say, Anna, in that book that she wrote, it sounds like she's threatening the judges and the DA and the CPS workers in this book. It's like the whole story at the beginning of it, which we read, was how Eli has Eli's his name in the book. Eli has this hit list of all the people that have done, what's her name? Linda wrong. And it really sounded like, and I had several texts of people asking, should we contact the police about this book? Anyway, John, you should get a second. I have to mute. It's storming. So my little baby beagle is just not having it as normal.
This is way beyond petty community BS.
Because people like Maria had just posted Lita's book trying to put money in a baby killer's pocket.
So this book, interesting.
Where she changes the names, but she still uses like the first initial of every name. Like
Check your text.
she's literally threatening DAs, judges, anybody, and she's saying that Eli is going to come after them and hurt them. Like this is a sick, twisted fucking. I don't even know how to put it into words.
Could you send me a screenshot of that?
John has them all. And John, check your text. Look at her LinkedIn.
No.
The book, are you a reader if you have Amazon or Kindle Premium or whatever? I bought it the other day.
But I am a reader, but
Okay, well, John has every screenshot because we were reading it. But she's literally talking about, well, the story starts about how I think Linda was found dead for some reason. I can't remember exactly. I got a pizza during that live. Isn't that weird? But she talks about, about having a hit list on all the people that fucked with
I'm
her.
wondering if I'm on there.
No, you're not. It's only government officials.
Oh,
You'll be in a sequel.
yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
Read your
I'm
text,
sure.
John. Look at her LinkedIn.
This is disgusting. Hold on.
You can't see it. Back up, back up, back up,
It'll
back up.
focus in a second. Hold on, I'll get it there. There we are.
There you go.
So this is Lita's LinkedIn, an accomplished author and landlord with a strong professional ethic and well-rounded educational background. Alongside my writing career, I have built a track record as an asset manager. Oh shit. And real
Wow.
estate. Previously owned and operated a general freight and trucking company where I developed strong expertise in business management and logistics and team leadership. I have since transitioned into real estate with a focus on residential leasing and property management, applying the same organizational precision and entrepreneurial drive to build a sustainable and client-focused enterprise. I can't read the rest of it because it's all bullshit. I'm sorry. Like there's a
I'll
lot
read
more to
it.
it, but I
I'll
can't
read
fucking
it.
read it.
I'll
I'm
read
sorry.
it.
I'm not gonna do it. I
And no, this is it's important. The end of it is. So it says previously owned and operated a general freight and trucking company where I developed strong expertise in business management, logistics, and team leadership. I have since transitioned into real estate with a focus on residential leasing and property management, applying the same organizational and precision to entrepreneurial, that's hard to say,
yeah, it's a hard word to
drive to
say.
build to build a sustainable and client-focused enterprise. Yeah, that's the kind of enterprise you're trying to run. I guarantee that. After running distribution hubs and transportation routes across regional markets, I identified a strategic opportunity to repurpose underutilized land and facilities into high demand residential communities. Today, For All People LLC focuses on developing and leasing family housing and mixed use properties in growth corridors, bringing a practical service driven approach to real estate rooted in decades of logistical precision. For everyone asking and assuming way too much, yes, my book E is erotic. Yes, it's spicy, dramatic, and will probably fog up your glasses. And yes, my husband was the inspiration because he is my muse, my chaos, and my emotional support headache.
Eh.
But, oh, sorry. But let's get this straight. It's fiction. It's a fantasy. It's not my personal diary. It's not a tutorial from our bedroom. And no, I'm not reenacting scenes on camera for research purposes. I took the energy, the chemistry, the obsession, and turned it into a supercharged fantasy world. So enjoy it for what it is. A story, not a documentary. All caps, not. And for clarity, uh, and for clarity, you can only purchase E online, exclusively on Amazon, only available with the paperback, which is a physical book version. So if you want to hold to the chaos in your hands, Amazon is the only place you'll find it. Thank you for supporting my writing.
Let me
Makes me
circle back
want
to
to
something.
puke.
Anna, you still here?
Yeah. Yes.
When she was at the hospital laughing and being giddy with people, how'd that look?
Made me want to just slap her.
And then when you got home and she went home, what how did she act afterwards when the hospital did any of you call her out for being like, you probably didn't know because she was, telling you what she wanted you to know, but did
I
anybody
will
say to her like,
really,
go ahead?
we pretty much stayed away from her.
And
We
did she
I
know that everybody thought that she killed her baby?
she probably did. I would think she did. Personally, I
And
would.
everybody in your apartment complex who witnessed everything, and you guys didn't know her from Adam. You didn't know her from being on 90 Fiance. Like you were like the best witness, to be honest with you, because you didn't know anything about Lita. You didn't
Right.
know about her like being a horrible fucking person on TV. You just saw somebody who came to you in help. We're like, oh, my baby, and that you being a good human being a good Christian woman decided to help her out like anybody would, because if anyone answered that door, you would try to do the same thing. You feel bad about it, because I feel bad about it, because I warned everybody about her for years. I mean, I've kept my fucking foot on her neck for years, and nobody wanted to hear it. She abused a puppy. I mean, in January of 2024, she got arrested for abusing a puppy, and even at that point, nobody wanted to hear it. Oh, it's okay. The puppy deserved it, is what people said. And now knowing that she abused that puppy, like, what was your thought? Like, after knowing everything there is to know about Lita, because you've been filled in about it, like, how do you feel about it now? Like, that she manipulated you, or
I
like,
feel that I was a pawn in her game.
bingo.
That's the easiest way to explain it. I
Bingo.
despise her. I hope karma gets her. And maybe someday that baby will get justice.
Well, that's why we're here. Because obviously the court system can't, the fact that this woman can go live and which Brooke just wrote, write books via chat GPT, because Lita talked like this, no, John Brown Yates hair, good, no, huh? Like, that's how she talks. So, like, it takes a lot for fucking chat GPT to, like, write a book for you. And in your heart of hearts, you know that Lita did that, right? I know, in my heart, I know that. And you were there. You saw it all.
MW is me has a good question. Sorry. This is why I keep muting. What did Lita tell you was wrong with the baby when you got to the hospital? Did she indicate
that's a good
anything?
question.
She didn't tell me nothing when I got there. She didn't
And
say
why
nothing.
did she call you? Like, you're just some neighbor that she, that she barely knows. Like, why would she call you?
That's what I said.
Right?
And
Isn't that weird? Like, I'm going to call some, like, weird person from my apartment complex that I just
we
met
got to get
the
it
night
right.
before.
The old elderly lady downstairs.
Exactly.
I can laugh about it now, but when she first said it, I wanted to hurt her. I wanted to, like, I'm not elderly. But
Yes, women take offense to that shit when they're not elderly. I get it.
I'm in my 50s. I'm not like 80 or 90.
Well, honey, I'm 46. She's 45. So we're all on the same fucking boat. Like, but for me, like, what got me is, like, when you told me about, like, how, like, after it happened, she was running through the hallway with the baby, just like, like, already, like, gone. And you would think somebody who trying to be a doctor would know better. Did she tell you she was, like, a doctor?
No.
Or anything like that?
No. She didn't say anything to me about that. Like I said, she really didn't talk to me.
And I know that you live with this guilt about, like, all this shit that's happened, and there's no reason why you should feel guilty at all, because you did the right thing. And, like, I the reason why we're here tonight, it's been 5 fucking months, and this woman, if you want to call her a woman, this demon who is selling her rice cookers, but then, like, making, writing not 4 or 5 novels, like J.K. Rowling, step aside. the new Harry Potter novels are going to come out. You know, and then but you were there, the closest to her when this was happening. You saw the baby alive and well and happy. And then a few hours later, while the baby was under Lita's custody, while Eric was either away or in jail, the baby all of a sudden, and what, brain contusions? Lita tried to say it was a slap to the face, but then, like, you know, then she said it was brain contusions. Well, then, if the baby was alive and well when you saw her July 4th, and then at 7 o'clock in the morning, when Lita asked you to drive her to the car where Eric was arrested from, the baby was still fine. And then somewhere between that and there, all of a sudden, no baby.
It's a lot. It's a lot to deal with, a lot to think about.
And
And
you
I
were a
do feel,
stranger to her. You were a neighbor that she didn't even know that she put this on.
I'd go back
And your
and play
friend,
it.
the other neighbor.
I'd go back and play it over and over. Could I have saved that baby?
You could have
Could
never have known what she was going to do to that baby. You could never have known it.
if she, you know, I don't know. It's a lot to absorb,
You could never have
and
known.
I'm very angry, very angry.
This
I
woman is a world-class manipulator. I mean, I've been warning people, even Brooke on my panel right now. I've been saying for years, this woman is bad fucking news. And like nobody wanted to hear it.
well, you know, John, the first time I seen your uh Instagram, I think it was, yes, and I got a hold of you, and we talked, and I knew in my heart that day that you were the first person I needed to talk to. You have been really supportive with what I've told you and when we talked, and that's helped. Thank you very much.
To thank me for that, sweetheart. Like, thank you for like confiding in me. And you know, like even Brooke didn't know, like, you know, you told me not to tell anybody about this, and I didn't. And you know, we said like when the time is right, we'll talk about it. And that time was tonight. And it, you know, it's been hard to sit here like when I know what she fucking did, and
I know.
her laughing at the hospital, and then like, you know, not even like her laughing at the hospital when her 5-week old like would be like, not even that, but like her actions afterwards, like changing her Facebook profile when she's in the hospital, like doing trucking shit, like, you know, it's none of it made sense. None of it, like, you know, my grandmother had 3 daughters. My mother, and 2 of my aunts, and she lost them all. And I know what it's like. You know, again, like I never had a kid, but I know I saw my grandmother cry every night. You know, for my grandmother to lose 3 daughters, it was a lot. You know, and I even though I'll never have a kid, and I'll never understand that pain. I understood my grandmother's pain when she cried to me every night about it, when she raised me because my mother did what she did. And for me, listening to this and me knowing what type of person Lita was, and like when you were saying like that Lita was like, running down the hallway with like the baby, and like, the head was like, like a fucking like Cabbage Patch Kid doll, like just like didn't give a fuck because the baby was already gone because Lita did her job allegedly, but that's what happened. Because there's no reason why on earth that baby should have had any injury, and then the fact that she said to Eric in a text message, which I have, well, we're gonna get the son we always wanted to, screw the daughter. I mean, and then
That
Eric took her
infuriates
back.
me.
And then
That
Eric took her
infuriates.
back. Restraining orders, like, and these are two sick fucking people. They're sick. They are sick. And all these felonies against her that she gets, like, get away from. And like, the Japanese incident where like she was drag racing and killed people there. And then, people constantly ask me, like, what's happening with Lita? What's happening with like the baby? And I'm gonna say that she got away with murder again. And that's what it is. Because why is this woman walking free?
Yeah. I ask that every day.
And
Bulletproof
finds to be
has a
like a
good
New York
question.
Times.
I'm sorry. Did she have a blanket around the baby, or was the baby
I
just?
don't know. I don't know. I don't know that. But I have to go.
No, you're
I'm so
good.
I'm so sorry that I have to leave, but I have to
No,
go.
you have said more than enough.
Thank you so
Um,
much, Anna.
yeah, Anna, thank you. Like,
I, I'm
God.
sorry that I cried. It just
No, it's
No,
sad. It's like I was like tearing up like a few times what when I went off camera, because like this is very fucking sad. And like the saddest part about it is that her and her husband are walking around free, and like let's say they have another kid, and what's gonna happen with that kid? We don't know. She had to like go to Indonesia and like drop off her son when she couldn't
yeah.
even leave the country legally because she's facing all these fucking felonies. And I knew this whole time that like at one point we would have this live, and I know that you're gonna tell how it was and how she was giddy and laughing and didn't give a fuck about like her 5 weeks old baby. Just its demise. Like
Janice, is
I
that you? And I'm sorry, I'm to interrupt you, but there's such a thing as crib death. Does crib death ever involve brain swelling or a fractured spine? I don't fucking think so.
and
Okay. Don't
also
come at
Lita was
don't
saying
come
that
at
Eric.
anybody with this shit that you could have a crib death or SIDS, because of course that's possible. But have you ever seen a SIDS case with a fractured spine or bleeding on the or swelling on the brain? Sorry, I have to mute my dog.
And that's what happened to the baby. Thank you, Brooke, for saying that, because that's what happened to the baby. So that wasn't like an accident. The baby was in Lita's care and it had a fractured spine and all this stuff that happened to the baby. How did it happen? Because I'm going to tell you why. Because she wanted to kill the only thing that gave Eric light. She took that baby away from Eric because she was pissed at him for like that. And she killed that baby because she wanted to get back at Eric. And I don't care what you say, that's exactly what fucking happened. She ran down to Anna's apartment. She said, "Oh no, my baby," and left, but still left like her 12-year-old son, severely autistic, in Eric's care. But she, why didn't she take the son with her? If Eric was so abusive to Lita, why didn't Lita take her her son, down with her on the arm or on the fucking hip down to Anna's apartment when she was so worried about abuse and this, that, and the other, but she left her 12-year-old son that can only like communicate via tablet in his care? The math ain't fucking mathing. It's not. You're gonna leave your 12-year-old son that can only talk via fucking iPad, but you're worried about your baby, and then Eric gets arrested, and then who's got the baby? It's Lita. And then a fractured, what was it, Brooke?
A fractured spine with brain swelling is the way she put it. But I don't know what the swelling is from. Is it from a hematoma in the brain? Is it a secondary injury from cerebral spinal fluid going up into leaking from the brain? I don't know if the fracture happened at a spot to where it could cause CSF fluid to leak and cause the brain to swell. I don't know all the information, but it's either a brain bleed or the fractured spine that caused the brain swelling, as Linda reported herself.
And here we are. So she's writing books, trying to be like a New York Times bestseller with her chat GPT. And she's going to walk the earth free as a bird from now on. So at least we talked about this tonight. And Anna, one more time, do you believe that Lita did something to that baby?
In my heart, yes.
And your other neighbor, does she believe the same thing?
I do believe so, yes.
Here we are. And Lita is no longer living there anymore, right?
No. Nope.
Well, if I ever did one good thing on YouTube, I hope this was the live that I did it on. Because
But I have to go. You guys have a good evening.
I'm going to end this live too because I have to talk to Anna now. But let's
Nice
end this
meeting you, Brooke.
live. Brooke, you're muted. You're muted. Brooke.
That's because the dogs are barking. Are we going to stay backstage or?
We can if you
Yeah.
guys want to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anna, stay backstage. I'm going to end this live.
All right.
Don't
Okay.
click
Thank you,
anything off,
guys.
Anna.
Okay, bye.
Thank you for being
Bye,
here
guys.
and listening to like all this, and we'll see. So, this was like one of like the hardest lives I've ever done in my tenure as being a blogger. I hope that it sits with you, and I hope that if we bring it to a public platform now, that maybe some justice will be fucking done. Good night, everybody.